Go into child's pose. Have your arms reaching behind you today with your palms facing up. Yeah. Have the front of the forehead resting on the mat. Connect to your breath. I'm a little cold. I thought we were getting warmer. Spread your lower back across the backs of your feet, the tops of your feet. Yeah. And use your breath this morning to really make the connection for body and mind. And at any point during the practice, you know, this is always available to you, for you. Spread your arms forward. So I like to tee them out if you have the space and then sweep them forward, but depending on space and shoulder movement. Anchor through your hands. There's a lift of your forearms up off the ground. Little mindful connections, your thumb, your index finger, your baby finger. Your arms are active. Good. Then press up onto all fours into tabletop position. When you hit tabletop, your hands don't need to be as wide as the mat. They can come in a little. And in tabletop, I like to curl my toes into the mat. Just personally for me, it feels, I get a little bit more feeling from my feet and the backs of my legs. Inhale, sink the spine down and look forward, just real basic here. Exhale, anchor, press, and round in for cat and cow. Just a few cycles. Inhale, sinking spine down. Connect here. Exhale, rounding the spine deeply and looking in. One more, sinking spine down, looking forward. Exhale, round the spine deeply and look in. Come to flat back tabletop position. Just extend your right leg straight back, curl the toes into the mat. Yeah, I like doing it with a foot curled like a half plank. Yes. And then float your right leg up so it's just hip height and neutral pelvis is what we're looking for. Just find some space right here and just hold that leg in the air. Connect your navel to the back of your spine. Feel the side body just really fired up. And then pressing firm through your hands, you're going to round your spine and draw your right knee in towards your navel and pause. And then on the extension, you're going to extend your right leg back to this three-legged plank, flex the foot really strong, and just create a little tiny up dog with the spine as you do it. So it's like kind of cat and cow with single leg. Here we go. So you're going to inhale around the spine and look in, and exhale, flex the foot, activate, and a little up dog in your chest. Small movement. One more, rounding and looking in. Exhale, extending and finding some space, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then go ahead and just hug the knee in and step your right foot all the way forward and through. And then widen the position of your stance. You're just in this low lunge. And you can always pad your back knee if you need to, but the back leg is on a nice angle. Your right hip hugs in. And the same little movement here. You're going to inhale, kind of round your spine and look in. And if you can't reach the floor, use blocks. And you'll exhale, just look forward and create a little, like a little arch of that spine. So a little cat and cows. Inhale, rounding and looking in. Small movement. Exhale, looking forward. Little up dog. One more. Inhale, rounding spine and looking in. Exhale, sinking down and looking forward. Then come to flat back tabletop position. And you're just going to take your left palm and have it go completely flat. We're going to open to a modified side plank. So just kind of pivot out and then rearrange if you feel like your hand needs to come in, your knee needs to come in, and stack your right leg up so it's hip height. And then reach towards that right foot, bend your knee and grab your ankle, and give a little flex of your foot if you have this in you, stretching out that right thigh. And just breathing your side body open. And I like to look up a little, look sideways, and just find your body and your space and your breath right here. Good. Release the arm, release the leg. You're in a modified side plank, more traditional. And then look down, just come to plank tabletop position. Just pause and tabletop, okay? So reset, extend the left leg, but curl the toes into the mat to start like a supported plank. Just breathe that leg into the mat, into the floor, and feel. It's amazing if you just draw attention to little things like the contraction of your core, the side ribs pressing down, and then float the leg up and just pause for a second. Just feel the leg in space Feel the extension of the side body, feel the neck nice and neutral, and just find that you're hugging your right hip in, not jutting it out. Good, and then you're gonna inhale, round the spine, draw the knee in and hug in. And then exhale, extend the leg and create a little up dog. So try that again, inhale, rounding and looking in. Exhale, extending, flexing the foot and arching subtly. One more, inhale, rounding in. Exhale, extending, flexing, little up dog in the chest. And then you're gonna just draw the knee in one last time here and step the foot forward and through. Come to the fingertips. Just go ahead and lift the back right knee up and slide it back a little. And if your hands don't make it to the floor, this is a good place to have blocks, right? So play with yourself. You're gonna round in and look in again on the inhale breath. And then on the exhale, round the spine, arch the spine and look forward. Hug your left hip in as you do this, activate your back leg. Round and scoop out your belly, look in. Exhale, sinking and just create a melt up thoracic as you open up. One more, rounding and looking in, feel. Exhale, sinking and looking forward. Come to neutral if you can find it. Plant the right palm, get it firm, pivot the right leg out and stack up into a modified side plank. And you may need to kind of futz around a little to find the sweet spot so it works for you. Then reach the left arm if you have this space, bend at your knee crease, grab your ankle, flex the foot and kick behind you. Breathe right here, looking sideways, looking up. Release the arm, release the leg, look to the floor, find a plank position, the best that you can. And if you need to drop your knees down and take the first one supported, try and find plank here though, stack yourself up, draw your belly in, feel your hands pressing firm. And then just do this for me. Just shift your weight back into your heels. So your weight goes back towards the back edge of your mat. And then on the exhale breath, rock your weight all the way forward onto your tippy toes. Good. So now try that again. Inhale, bring your weight back. So you're like sitting back in your heels. And then exhale, rock your weight forward onto your tippy toes. You should feel this in your core. One more. Inhale, rock it back. And then exhale, bring the weight all the way forward onto your tippy toes. Hold. Broaden across the upper shoulders. Lead with your heart and chest a little bit, keeping your neck neutral. Hips up and back to your first dog. And me personally right now, I need to bend my knees a little bit, especially for this first one. Yeah, take up a lot of space on the mat. And if your hands got too close, you can just kind of rearrange so your hands are as wide as the mat most likely. Index fingers are forward. Creases of the wrists are forward. Is that heater good? Oh, yeah, my mom's here on the other side of the room. And so I put the heater on her because it's definitely not Florida in this room today. Good, breathe your hips up nice and high. And after you kind of futz around and you find your sweet spot, take a couple breaths where you can just be still and allow yourself to feel. Spread your toes wide. Good, and then roll forward plank. With excitement. I know you're super excited. Drop your knees if you need to support yourself. Yep. Lower halfway to your push-up chaturanga. Knees can drop for all of that. Look forward just a little bit just to the front skinny edge of the mat. There you go. Good. Lead with your heart and chest for a little up dog or cobra. I don't know what's going on in your bodies, but you could take baby cobra. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Okay. So come forward to plank, guys. Yeah, everybody drop their knees. The knees go on an angle, the toes stay curled. Halfway down to your version of a push-up, and then lower all the way to your belly. Slide your hands back a little, uncurl your toes. This is baby cobra. And if your back is sensitive, I highly recommend. This is a great spot to be, okay? The hands aren't too forward, they're back kind of where your waist is and your belly button meets. And then you would press your seat to your heels for a child's pose. And then arrive to a down dog. So any of these variations, more traditional, roll forward plank, halfway to a push-up, smooth transition into up dog, you press to your hands, the tops of your feet. This is where you can add that cobra, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Any variations work. Look to the top of the mat. Take 2 big steps or 20 to get there this morning. Long spine on the inhale. If the hands don't quite make it to the floor this morning, they can slide to the shins. I need you to keep your weight forward, look forward a little, and then exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer, drop your arms, and just stand still for a second. Good. Arms slide straight up towards the sky, look up. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Step to plank. Good. Halfway to your push-up, or if you're taking push-ups out, just hold plank or supported plank. Good. Up dog or cobra, any back bend works. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full giant breath out. Look where you want to go. Step your feet there this morning. Long spine when you arrive. Weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Keep going like this. Arms slide up, look up a little. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Step to plank, or if you feel bouncy, you can hop to a chaturanga. Upward facing pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just trying to get the cobwebs out. That's the goal. Keep your arms nice and straight. Look where you want to land. Step or float your feet to the top. Get there lightly. Long spine, keep your weight forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Again, arms slide straight up towards the sky. Look up. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Step, or float through your version of a vinyasa. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Each one gets a little better. At least we keep telling ourselves that. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Get there nice and light. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Good. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. One more. Here we go. Slide the arms straight up towards the sky. Look up. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head just fall. Come to the fingertips to prepare yourself. Step or float through your vinyasa. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. You're going to roll forward to plank position. Yep, with excitement. Drag your right knee in towards your navel. Yeah. So your right knee draws in towards the center line. Your arms are straight up and down and they're pressing pretty firm into the mat. And if I were you, I would fix my eyes on the front skinny edge of the mat. That's a great Drisky focal point. Keep hugging in. Land your right foot all the way forward and through. Get your stance to work for you. So a little bit wider is recommended, but definitely long enough so you have extension. Be on your fingertips for a second. Hug the right hip in nice and strong. And then activate your legs and come up to a high lunge, crescent lunge. So come up nice and slow this morning. You know, you can always modify. So the lower half of the body is really grounding you. The upper half of the body is extending you. So you're finding kind of like a rubber band, but just the right amount of pull. Connect to your breath. Yes. So we're going to have a little fun this morning, or at least I think it's fun. You might not think it's fun. Your arms reach forward like you're handing a tray to someone. You're going to wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. For some reason, this is unavailable. You can always just give yourself a hug, or hands obviously can be in prayer. Wrap your left leg around your right. So you're going to step up into eagle. And don't get so aggressive with it that you feel that your foot needs to come all the way around your calf. Some days that's just not meant to happen. Steer your hips back like you're sitting into a chair. Rather than yanking down on your arms, lift your elbows up a little. Get that little back bend. And see if you can kind of steer your knees to the left and your hips a little bit to the right as you get a little heavier in that standing right heel. Squeeze tight. Good. Unravel just your arms towards the sky. Listen carefully. Slide your hands to your hips. You're going to press up and cross your left ankle over your right thigh and get heavy in your legs as you sit into this version of ankle to knee. We're not here for so long. Hands can just stay on your hips, and I want you to think about wrapping your elbows together. So you're squeezing them a little bit together and you're bending heavy into your standing right thigh. Obviously, if you need to use blocks or the wall or something, a chair or a person to help you balance, that is fine. Flex that top foot super strong. Hug your right hip in and steer your left hip back. 2 more breaths. Hands are going to stay on hips for the transition. You're going to press to stand. Don't let your left foot touch the ground. Step back to warrior 1. So see if you can steer that back foot back. Yep, get your feet arranged. If it didn't work out for you, it's not a big deal. And then curl your arms up towards the sky. Good. Hug the right hip in. Back foot is almost completely turned forward. Yeah, left hip, left ribs are going to pivot forward towards the front edge of the mat. Yeah, and then get heavy in the lower half of the body like crescent. And let the upper half of the body rise up. 2 more. Feel. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Find a plank or find a push-up to hold. Either one of those options work great. If you went for the push-up, re-straighten your arms to a plank. Hug your left knee in and up, squeeze in. Arms are straight up and down. Yep, scoop out your belly, activate your back leg. Keep the breath flowing. Land your left foot all the way forward and through. Take a pretty big step. Take a second to arrange your stance because the power comes from the ground up. Right. Hug your left hip in. Activate that back leg. And then when you feel ready and confident, you come up on your own breath to a high lunge crescent lunge. And you make little tweaks here so it feels stable. Good. So it's really important at the beginning of the practice that we find these poses. We hold for a bunch of really good breaths. Yeah, and we just see what's going on without any judgment. Arms are going to slide forward like you're handing a tray. Wrap your arms up into eagle, right arm underneath left, or giving yourself a bear hug. Rather than yanking down, lift the elbows up to stretch the thoracic, and then focus on that standing left leg as you slowly start to wrap your right thigh around. Do the best that you can. The foot may wrap around the calf, or you may need to bag that. Steer the knees to the right, hips to the left. Heavy in that standing left heel. As you squeeze your arms and your legs tightly. Finding a straight line down the center line of your body. Unravel just your arms towards the sky to start. Then slide your hands to your hips. Squeeze the elbows together so the shoulder blades get a little activation. Press into ankle to knee. So just cross your right foot over your left thigh and then get heavy in that standing left foot as you sit. Use the energy of your hands to your hips to steer your hips back. Squeeze the shoulder blades a little together. And flex the right foot super strong. Good. Hug your left hip in. We have a tendency to wing it out like we do in an extended side angle. It's kind of the same type of thing. Yeah. Steer your right hip back and flex more. Create a little up dog in your chest. You're not dumping down. You continue to breathe. Keep the hands on the hips and press up without letting your right foot touch the floor. Slide it back into warrior 1. Get your feet arranged, and once you think you have the stance adequate for you, then grow the arms to the sky. Yes, and just reminding you, if lower back is sensitive, a little pitch forward in your spine may be super helpful. Press strong through the blade of your back right foot. Steer the right ribs forward, and you're welcome to look up a little with your eyes. Just not recommended to drop your neck back. Good. Hands to frame your front foot. You move through a vinyasa, or you simply go to a dog if you're not into it today. We'll meet in a downward facing dog and exhale all the breath out. Look to the top, step or float to your feet there this morning. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Sit into chair, weight moves into your heels. Stick your butt way back. Good. Use that energy to press up to stand up. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. We're going to do 3 sun Bs together. Arms slide straight up towards the sky. Sit deep into chair. Dive over bent legs, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips and prepare. Step or float through your vinyasa. Everyone's looks a little different. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right foot lands, back foot turns, warrior one. If you get inversion to that crescent lunge. Hands back down in your own breath through vinyasa. Nice and seamless movement. When you get to your down dog, the left foot lands, the back foot turns. Set up for warrior one. Back down we go through vinyasa. We will meet in a downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Keep the arms very straight. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Sit again into chair, weights in your heels. Yeah, stick your butt way back. And then use that energy to press up to stand up. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Here we go. Arms slide straight up towards the sky. Sit deep into chair. Dive over bent legs, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine to prepare you. Step or float through a vinyasa. Up dog pulls you through. Press firm through your hands and your feet. Nice. Hips up and back, down dog. The right foot lands, the back foot turns. Warrior one or your version. Nice alignment, ladies. Hands come down through a vinyasa. Upward facing, point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing. The left foot lands, the back foot turns. Come on up. Back down we go through a vinyasa on your own breath. Upward facing, point. Hips up and back, downward facing. Be still in the transitions and just breathe. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine when you arrive. Keep that weight forward. Exhale, fold. Sit deep into chair. Weight moves into your heels. You got it. Stick your butt way back. And then shoot up to stand up. Drag your hands to prayer and drop your arms. One more for good luck. Arms slide straight up towards the sky. Look up a little. Sit deep into your chair from the top. It's always much easier. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips and prepare. Step or float through a vinyasa. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. The right foot lands, the back foot turns. Let's move through a warrior one. Come on up. Hands come back down to the floor through a vinyasa. Upward facing point. Hips up and back, downward facing. The left foot lands, the back foot turns. Anchor, feel before you just move on. Good. Hands come down through a vinyasa, plank, chaturanga if you're taking. Upward facing, point the toes. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right foot lands, back foot turns. Let's come back up, warrior one more time. Yeah. Let's wrap the left arm once again underneath the right, and let's pivot forward into a version of humble warrior. So you can either rest your stomach on your thigh, or you may find it a little easier this morning to get your right shoulder in this variation to the instep of your right leg, and then just let your head just drop. But notice your right hip, it has a tendency to want to jut out, so you kind of have to hug it underneath you and steer the left side of the body forward. Good, and just breathe and let your hips get a nice opening while getting a nice little shoulder opening. Feel the outer blade of your back foot press down. Heavy in your legs, pull your torso up. Once the torso comes up, unravel your arms. Let the hands kind of lock together in a prayer over the top of your head. Sides of the triceps hug in, and the coiling of your ribs. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Vinyasa or dog, you pick. Everyone feels a little different. Land your left foot forward, turn your back foot strong. Come up warrior one and hold. Good. Secure your feet. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Right. Hug your left hip in strong and then come forward for this version of humble. Okay, so your left shoulder is going to come to the instep of your left leg if you're kind of taking more of a humbly version, or you're just resting on your thigh. Notice your left hip, it has a tendency to want to go a little wild. Press heavy through the blade of your right foot, steer the right side of your body forward, let your head go. Connect to your breath, hold and breathe. Lots of good energy through your feet and your legs. Pull your torso up, just the torso. Then unravel your arms. Let the hands lock in that prayer. Hug in. Take it to the floor through vinyasa. Meet me in the downward facing dog. Once you get to down dog, on the inhale breath, lift your right leg up hip height. Flex the right foot. Yeah. Just hold that right leg in space. Come forward to a three-legged plank position. So your right foot doesn't touch the ground if you could avoid it. Hug your right knee straight in, squeeze to the center line of your body. Step your right foot all the way forward and through beyond your fingertips. Reach for a block. You're going to bring your left hand to your hip and come to a half move. It's just a very seamless movement this morning. Lean on your back. Hug the right hip in. Yeah. Stack yourself up. You didn't miss much. And then grow the branches of this version of half moon, however you feel it feels fit this morning. So maybe you want to go into a little bit more balance. Right, maybe you want to work the back bend. Truthfully, just putting the attention on that right foot and keeping that forward without that foot turning in and focusing on hugging your right hip underneath you, like that leg is in Tadasana, is a great way to practice the pose. So any variation, you're just holding half moon, a few more breaths. And if you fall out, it's okay. You just get back in and you try it again and again and again. Some days we're spot on, other days it's a rocky road with this one. So if you added in any embellishments, just come back to a more traditional version of this. We'll meet there. So you can bring the block with you as we transition to triangle, okay? But think mindfully stepping all the way back and then pulling up on your front right shin for Trikonasana triangle pose. If you need to readjust the stance, wider or smaller, you can go and just pull yourself up and do so. If your hand is on your shin like I'm demonstrating here, envision pulling up on my pant leggings. Yes. You're trying to create this lift of your obliques, of your side ribs. Your left arm stretches nice and high towards the sky, and your eyes can start to look sideways or look up if you have the availability with your neck. If you don't, just look down. Hug your outer hips in. Squeeze them tight. Yeah. And then find stillness and maintain the shape of the pose for a few more really solid breaths. And what I like to do in this posture at the end is I like to pick up all 10 toes and spread them up off the mat and then replant them down. The strength of my left arm is going to pull me up to a standing position so my arms and my legs are straight. So if you take a little bit of a smaller stance, you may need to widen your stance here. So the wrists and the ankles line up. Bend into your right thigh for warrior two. Warrior two. Yeah, your feet shouldn't be all over the place. Your right foot matches up with your back left, either heel to heel or heel to arch. Spread your collarbone and your chest nice and wide, and then fix your eyes on a drishti that you know you can maintain and hold for a few more breaths. Lengthen your tailbone and let your right thigh wrap open. So make sure that that knee doesn't turn in. Close your eyes if you can and find stillness. Breathe into the sensations that you have in your body. They are temporary. Let the eyes open. Flip the palm and take a reverse, but stay heavy in your front thigh. So just reach back a little and then come back to warrior two, and you can take your right hand to the instep of your right foot today. I like using a block. You can use 2 blocks. You can also just rest your arm on the top of your thigh. It's up to you how you want to do this. Left arm's going to stretch straight up towards the sky. To start, you're teeing your arms open. Grip your right hip underneath you and turn your bottom ribs. If you'd like to add a half bind, a variation of it, you can start with your hand on your hip. And then you can go ahead and you can wrap it behind you. Maybe you can reach to the inner part of your thigh. Everyone is different. So just taking it modified, this is how it should look. Or something like this. If you're going with the hand to the instep of the block, feel free to go down a little closer towards the floor. Turn the whole torso and the chest, the collarbone, and then if you can, offer your drishti kind of looking up. Anchor strong for your left leg. This is one of those poses you definitely need to hold for a bunch of breaths so you can really kind of work it out. Grip the right hip in strong. And then settle in a little longer. Good stuff. Unravel the left arm. Let the strength of that pull you up. Warrior two, take the bounce out. Take it to the floor through a vinyasa or right to a dog, depending on how you feel. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. When you get to your downward facing dog, just breathe your left leg up. Just breathe it up. Make sure you're not opening your hip. Hug the right hip under you, press firm through your hands. And then come forward to a 3-legged plank. So the foot doesn't touch the floor, it just skims the mat. Pull the shoulder blades apart a little. Hug the left knee in. So you're just doing things very methodically here. Land your left foot all the way forward and through. Hug the hip in. Reach for your block, and you'll step up into half move. So if you really focus on mindful transitions, you can do anything in the practice. Little soft bend behind your left knee as you stack yourself up here. Flex your right toes, and then you begin to open up nice and wide. Whatever you took on the right side, see if you can experience it here on the left. So lightening your hand position, maybe bending the top leg into a Shavasana. Maybe just focusing on your left foot and your hip, hugging it underneath you. Really nice. If you fall, you just try it again. Play with your drishti, your focus. Stay with it. Regular half moon if you added anything in. Triangle pose, transition smoothly if you can. Pull up on the front of the shin, take a giant step back. Let the 2 shoulders slide apart and then look up with your eyes. Your back foot should be on a little angle. Your front knee should have a little bend behind it. Your side ribs are long. Your outer hips are hugging in. You're not dumping down into your low back. The last little bit, if you want to play with what I was saying before, like kind of pressing the padded part of your foot down and lifting all 10 toes up, and then re-spreading the toes. You may feel a little bit more through your inner and outer thighs. Feel your top arm and your back leg. Let that energy pull you up to a standing position. So your arms and legs are straight. You may need to widen your stance so your wrists are directly underneath your ankles. And then bend heavy into your standing left thigh for warrior two. Good. Left thigh drops straight down, tailbone drops straight down. Breathe your collarbone and your chest open, and then fix your eyes. Your drishti can be on anything. I just wouldn't recommend looking to the floor, but just find a sweet spot that you can focus on and settle in for a few really good breaths. Back arm gets a little sad. Reach across the body a little more. Lengthen and hold. Heavier in that standing front thigh. Flip the palm, reverse. Reverse the warrior. Come back through warrior two and find your way into B variation. Block on the instep, arm on the top of your thigh. Start by stacking your two shoulders up. So spread that chest open, grip the left hip underneath you, turn the ribs, and then add on. Maybe right hand bends into your hip, or maybe it wraps behind you for a half bind. Reminding you that it's like a collarbone is opening, looking off the right shoulder towards the ceiling. Pressing heavy into that standing right leg, and then really pressing into that left thigh. Find the shape, then maintain, and let the evolution of the posture begin. A little longer. Unravel the top arm, stay heavy in your legs, no bounce, warrior two, good luck with that. Look forward, take it to the floor, move yourself through a vinyasa. Enjoy the up dog or cobra if you're taking it. Nice work, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Exhale all the breath out, good work so far, let's keep it together. Look to the top of the mat, step or float your feet there. Long spine on the inhale breath, exhale, fold into yourself. Just have your blocks at the top, you may need them. Just root to rise this morning, come all the way up. I told you that thing gets you hot. Hands to prayer and drop your arms. Standing on your left leg, just bend your right leg up into tree. Tree pose. I'll face towards you. It'll be easier for you to see. So my left leg is the balance leg. I'm going to use my hand to get that foot up there. Hug the hips in, and then the branches of your trees can spread open. They can be up, they can be straight up. Your hands can be in prayer. Any of these options this morning. Just allow yourself to feel the wobbling, the shaking, the imperfection of the pose as you gather your outer hips together and really coil the ribs towards the sky as you stand up a little taller. So not much is going to change. You're just going to take your right foot and cross over your left thigh, and you're going to arrive back to that figure four, and then you're going to sit into chair with the ankle to knee. Yeah. This time you're going to start to hinge forward, and you're going to get in there. You're going to use the back of your triceps, or your hands can come down to the block or the floor. Yeah. If you wanted to play this morning, you can add a little twist. Your right elbow can come to the instep of your right foot, and you could take a little prayer twist, ankle to knee. That's just a little different, but same shape. Nothing else is changing here. Same action of events. You're steering your hips back. You're leading with your chest. You're heavy in your legs. Good, so wherever you are, you're gonna come to center. You're gonna take your hands to your hips and try and come up without kind of getting floppy. Lift the right thigh to the sky and then lower the right foot down to meet your left. Sweep your arms up and now sit into the more traditional chair. Slide your hands to prayer. Listen carefully. You're gonna hook the elbow. You're gonna twist to the left today. Let's go the opposite direction. So go towards the left. Just doing that because for those that added that little funky twist, we want to stay consistent, okay? So watch the two knees, that they're not sliding past one another. Stay heavy in your legs, you got it. And some of us just take this really simple and make it an air twist. I like it, Elise. Just creating the shape in your body, creating the mindset, creating the space. Get a little heavier in your legs. Pull around to chair. Recommit, that's what I always say in this posture, and then shoot up to stand up, drag it to prayer card. Good, so now you just switch the weight to your right leg and draw your left leg up to tree. It's a simple pose, it's effective. Gather the hips together, use your hand to get it into the right spot of your leg for you. Hands can come to prayer, or you can spread the branches. Any which way. Sometimes I like having the arms out. Kind of makes them feel free. Like the little bird that's talking to us outside right now. Rip the hips underneath you and just work it out. Maybe look up with your eyes. Keep everything the same. Nothing's going to switch. All you're going to do is take your foot and cross it over the top of your right thigh. Flex the foot strong and then sit like you're sitting into a big chair. Good. And then as you sit, start to lean out, reach forward, flex that top foot super strong. Maybe the hands come to prayer, back of the triceps, kind of rest on the front of the shin. Maybe the hands need to rest on blocks this morning. Maybe you want to incorporate that little twist. Your left elbow hooks to the arch of your left foot, and you can look to the right and start to twist here. There's an arm variation, arm balance variation that we can work from off of this. I think I'll wait to show you guys that another day. Keep steering your hips towards that back edge of the mat, and keep your chest as open as you can. Breathe. Wherever you are, steer around to center and see if at the same time you can bring your hands to your hips. You could stand up. Don't let your left foot touch. Draw the left knee up to a 90-degree angle. Flex the foot and then lower it down and sit one more time into a heavy chair pose. Drag your hands to prayer. Inhale the breath. Hook the elbow. You're going to go to the right. So this time you're going to the right. Air twisting is fine. Yes, watch the two knees. It's all about the alignment. So weight is in your heels, real heavy in your heels. Spine stays super straight. Crown of the head is moving over the fronts of your toes. Get in there a little bit more. You can do it. On the breath, pull around to center. So pull around to center. Sit 2 inches deeper. I know you have it in you. Sit 2 inches deeper and then shoot up to stand up. It's so invigorating doing it that way. Drag your hands to prayer and drop your arms. Have your blocks right at the top. Separate your feet hips width distance and just slide your left leg back about 3 feet. Hands to your hips. So it's like a short warrior one. Right hand on your hip. Left arm extends up. You're going to inhale the breath, come halfway down. I manually steer my right hip back, and then we'll come the rest of the way down into twisting triangle. Right hand can come to the flat part of your back, looking sideways, looking up, maybe stacking the right shoulder up towards the sky, the right arm up towards the sky. But it's an activation of your legs. Your hips are moving towards the back edge of the mat, and your spine is very long. I definitely recommend looking sideways or looking up. Try not to look back. When we look back in any of these twisting poses, we have a tendency to round ourselves in. Feel like someone's got you by a bungee cord and they're pulling you towards that back edge of the mat. Twist open a little more. You got this. Take 2 more breaths. Look to the floor, right hand comes down. Using blocks or not, you're going to claw the mat. You're going to let your left leg pop up into a standing split. Try not to open up your hips. Drape your torso down over the front of your right thigh. Soften your shoulders and breathe your left leg into space. Even if the leg isn't lifting up very high, don't beat yourself up over it. Relax the shoulders. Get your stomach close to the front of your right thigh. Come to the fingertips, long spine, find extension. Giant step back into a lunge. On the inhale breath, rise up, crescent lunge here. Hands come to prayer, inhale there. Lean forward and hook the elbow to twist. You can always drop the back knee if you need to. Rip the right hip in super strong. Looking sideways, looking up. It's almost a sensation that you're leaning back a little bit into the pose. Hug the right hip in a lot. And twist open. Stay with it. A little bit more work. Give it all that you got right here. Twist a little deeper. Look to the floor, take both hands down. Slide your left knee behind your right foot. Yeah, and come to Ardha Matsyendrasana, which is a seated spine twist. Just make sure you're not sitting on your left heel. Right hand behind you to keep yourself nice and straight. I like giving my top leg, that will be your right leg, a little hug. Inhale the breath, lengthening up. Exhale, looking over your shoulder and twisting. You can get your elbow in there and twist a little more if you want. Looking sideways, looking up, looking back. Good, come back to neutral, come back to center. You may want to counter twist if that feels good for you. Good, you're just gonna unravel your legs like this. Feet are gonna go flat. Reverse tabletop, lift the tailbone up. Yeah. I like looking down the center line of the body, just make sure it's not sad. Yeah, you gotta lift from the back of the knees all the way towards the glutes. Pressing your hands. On the exhale breath, lower the tailbone down. Add in right ankle over the left thigh this time. Ankle to knee, or just repeat. Inhale the breath, and then on the exhale breath, lift up. Fan that right thigh towards the ground and lift. Breathe your collarbone and your chest open. Press a little more into the mat and lift 2 inches higher. Exhale the breath, lower down. Cross at the ankles, plant the hands to the floor. Step to a plank position. When you arrive in plank this morning, drop your forearms down. Forearm plank. Yeah. You can always drop your knees if you're not feeling it today. Yeah, you could use your block in between your hands. I highly recommend you looking forward a little here, like at the front edge of your mat. It's going to help your neck. Press down, lengthen your tailbone. Stay with it. Just breathe. Hug in. One hand at a time, little wavering plank position. Chaturanga push-up if you have it in you. Up dog if it's available. Meeting in a downward facing dog. Exhale all the breath out. Look where you want to land. Step or float one last time this morning to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Take your hands to your hips. Slide your right foot back about 3 feet or so. Extend your right arm up towards the ceiling. Left hand can stay on your hip, halfway down. Steer the hips back. Rest it way down into your twisting triangle. Good. Good. Slide your hips toward the back edge of the mat. You got to kind of play with the block. Everyone's a little different where it needs to be. Right. Some of us like our hand on our shin. Maybe the left arm feels good enough that it can stack up towards the ceiling, but you're keeping your alignment. You're breathing your chest open. So in this type of pose, I like to hold a little bit longer. Really getting the effects of the posture, hamstring, nice and open. 2 more. Look to the floor, take both hands down. You can use blocks or you can just kind of claw the mat, but see if you can line all 15 digits up together and then let your right leg just pop up hip height. Drape your torso down so you're in a version of standing split. Soften the shoulders down the back. Draw the belly in and make sure there's not too much space between your stomach and your thigh. It should be touching. Just breathe your right leg up a little higher from the inner thigh. Then draw to the fingertips, long spine. Giant step back. Crescent lunge. Good. Rise up. Here we go. Hands to prayer at heart. Inhale the breath. Lean forward. Hook the elbow and twist. So reminding you, if you're going for the full deal of this, the back leg's set up like it's in a plank position. It's super engaged. You're all the way on your tippy toes. You can always drop your back knee. You can always stay upright and just air twist. Any of these options are wonderful. You can always have your hand to the instep of your foot and go a little lighter. Every day we come to our mats is a new experience. Seriously, with our bodies. You got to just grip that left hip underneath you, twist open, give it a little bit more love. Sometimes we just need TLC. 2 more. Look down, place both hands to the ground. I like to walk my left foot a little more neutral center, and then step your right knee in and sit. Walk that right foot out so you're sitting on both butt cheeks, left hand behind you. Give your left leg a squeeze. Yeah, inhale the breath and then look over your shoulder and twist. If you feel like you need a little deeper, elbow can hook to the outside of the thigh for seated spine twist. Come back to center. Unravel yourself, palms go flat. You're going to press up into one version of regular tabletop, reverse tabletop, so press down, lift, broaden the collarbone, the neck, feel your outer triceps grip in. The space happens from the backs of your knees to your glutes. Lower down, and then cross your left thigh over your right. If you'd like to do this, you could just repeat. On the exhale breath, lift up, flex the foot and let your left thigh drop open. Lift a little higher. Good. Exhale the breath, lower down. Cross the ankles, plant the palms, step to a plank. Once you arrive in plank, drop down to your forearms, forearm plank. Yep. Or dolphin pose if you prefer. And this is where you could go up for the next couple breaths into an inversion. Yeah, so if you want to walk dolphin, you'll walk your feet in a little closer. It's basically down dog on your forearms, or you can just stay in a forearm plank, work your core about 5 more breaths wherever you're taking this. So if you went dolphin, walk back out forearm plank. Nice work, guys. And as with as little wavering as possible, press onto your hands for plank position. Nice work. Add in a vinyasa, meet me in a down dog. It might feel good. It may just be annoying too. Yeah. Down dog. Slide your right knee forward, very brief half pigeon. We've done a bunch of hip opening already, but it's good to just hit this because it does something for our hips and piriformis that we don't find in that standing version. So right knee forward, half pigeon. Drop in a little deeper if you can. That might just be with your mindset or your breath. Downward facing dog, and just slide your left leg forward. Make it a seamless transition, and then fold. Good, you're going to use the strength of your body. Pull around onto your left butt cheek, swing your right leg forward. So right here, you're going to grab the back of your thigh and lift your legs up to Shavasana, or have your hands down on the ground. I like doing it this way because I find that it really takes the pressure out of my low back. Don't worry about having your legs straight. Think more tabletop with your legs and more of the openness of your chest is what we're going for. So when we lower to Ardha Navasana, know that your legs can be straight up at a 90-degree angle. So that's going to take a lot of pressure off the lower back. Here we go. You're going to lower, but keep your hands down. Legs can be straight up. Shoulder blades are lifted, and there's a scooping out of your belly. So your lower back is pressing firm into the floor. More intensity, you'll lower your legs. The most intense is the heels will hover the ground. Look up towards the sky and hold wherever you are. Stay with it. Press down. lengthen. Exhale the breath, lower the feet to the floor. So take your block, I think everyone has them at this point. Lift your tailbone up and slide your block underneath your lower back. So the highest direction is going to be the most intense, okay? Once you get underneath there into your bridge with the block, wrap the shoulders under. I like clasping the hands. Set up here with the block in bridge, and then when you're ready, right leg's going to lift up towards the sky, and then the left leg. And then close your eyes and just feel your body in space here. Keeping your legs directly over your hips is the goal. Bend your knees in half. Take your feet flat to the floor. Once the feet are secure to the ground, do it slow. Give enough juice that you can lift your hips up and slide the block out. When you relax your lower back to the floor, just windshield wash your knees. Jess is doing it to the right and to the left a couple times. And then hug your knees in towards your chest one more time here. And just reach for the outer blades of your feet for a quick happy baby. It's kind of just a nice way to seal it all. You can rock a little right, left. It's more like a dead bug then. And then slide yourself out when you've had enough of that into a comfortable position for Shavasana. For the next 2 minutes, the goal is to lay still, non-distracted. So throw your phone to the other side of the room. Cover yourself up, make yourself comfortable. And allow your body, but more importantly, your mind, just kind of go into a nice resting pose. Take a big breath in. Take a full breath out. Move with ease. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Draw your arms up over the top of your head. Give yourself a big bear squeeze. If you need to just stay down, I get that too. Rock up in your own way to a seated position and just sit up in this new body of yours. But more importantly, a nice, refreshed, recharged mind and a clean perspective. And draw the hands to prayer, bow your head for a second, have gratitude for being able to do this, finding the time and the space. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste. Go out there, have an awesome afternoon. We'll hit it again on Friday. I'm in person tomorrow if you're interested.